Joining us now, and he's been with us before from the Vested Group, a workplace expert, Joel Patterson, is back to talk about what's going on in the world of employment today. Joel, welcome and thanks for being here.
Happy to be here. Good morning.
So, I hear this all the time. I think COVID changed the landscape of employee-employer relationships in the workforce. And now there's this trend of like, oh, I've got to have my life balance. I don't really care about promotions and money. I just want balance in my life. Is hard work and hustle becoming outdated?
You know, I don't know if it's outdated, but what it is, it will allow you to differentiate yourself from the crowd if you exhibit those traits these days. And that used to be an expectation, but nowadays, we're talking about quiet quitting. Everybody's heard of Great Resignation. A new one, rage applying, which is applying to as many jobs as you possibly can in a short amount of time, just to sort of put some pressure on the companies, I suppose. Polywork, where you've got more than one job, and I'm not talking about a side gig. I'm talking about you've got 2 9-to-5 jobs that you're having to maintain meetings in both. There's actually software out there that will help you do that these days, and it's like it's becoming an art form to name new ways to quit.
Yeah, quiet quitting. We've heard that before, where you're just kind of doing the basics enough to keep, hold on the job, but not really, show a lot of energy. And I've heard of something called RTO and coffee badging. What is that?
Yeah, RTO just returned to office, but the coffee badging is you go to the office, you swipe your badge to make sure that you've been logged in, you go grab a cup of coffee and you split. That's really all it is. It's just doing the absolute bare minimum without getting fired.
Well, I actually know somebody mentioned this to me a couple of weeks ago that, they expect them to show up at the office. The bosses are in another city. So he goes in, he swipes the badge in the morning and then leaves and goes and works from home. And there's enough cubicles set up in this office they've set up. It's a remote office from the company's headquarters here in Birmingham. I'm not going to mention the name of the company, but there's enough room in these cubicles for about 50 people, and about 3 people are there at any given time, and that's about it. And nobody's caught on to it yet. I would think that they'd probably put cameras in there and just kind of glance in every once in a while, but who knows? But so, are employers putting up with this? Or are they saying, okay, well, fine, here's your work-life balance, and, you can work where you want to, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hurt feelings and require to actually, show some effort around here. Is this going to boomerang and swing back on the employees?
I think it already is to some extent. This has been going on for a few years now, and people are more aware of it. Companies are responding and trying to mentor and coach some of the newer employees in a different way than they were. Kind of focusing more on soft skills, but ultimately it's just recognizing that change is constant. You've got to get past the glory days syndrome where you're thinking, well, I had to do this so that somebody else needs to do the same, and just embrace the new and recognize, that's how we're going to move forward, and find ways to be able to support some of the people that maybe feel a little left out. I'm not saying that they should be. I'm just saying that that's how they feel, and recognizing that you're not going to change that without really, being intentional is kind of the first step to getting something done.
You said something that's, really important, I think. And Coach Belichick used to do this, and he talked about it, as head coach of the Patriots, that, if you've got to be able to pivot. If something changes, we got to move in a different direction. If we draft 3 more wide receivers and running backs in this year's draft, guess what? We're going to be throwing the ball next season a little bit more than we did last season. Same thing with the workforce.
Yeah.
If things change, you got to kind of move it.
100%. Yeah. And I think people are looking at this, the younger generation is not as concerned about climbing the corporate ladder as we may have been. They're more concerned about experience and things that they've got to do outside of work. And so lateral moves are just fine for them.
Yeah.
They value diverse experiences and continuous learning and those kind of things, which aren't bad. But certainly they look at that, doing what you need to do in order to succeed in a much different way than previous generations have.
Yeah. Is there a way to accomplish both?
Yeah, I think you just got to be intentional and recognize it's not just one path for everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody is a little bit unique. And if you want, as a manager, your real job is to help them become the best versions of themselves at work, and coaching them through that, recognizing that some people require different things and different skills is what will allow everybody to get along as one.
Very good. I like it. Thank you so much. I appreciate you being with me.